You are listening to Proof Text, a Glossa House podcast exploring Scripture and all things related to it. New episodes are released daily. For more information, check out glossahouse.com and subscribe to our channels on Spotify and YouTube. Welcome and enjoy.
Shalom, this is Dr. Jennifer Noonan, and this is your SLA Insight for the week. I'm continuing to talk about language output and the role that output can play in promoting acquisition of the language. I've been talking about things like how output promotes depth of learning and provides more opportunities for automaticity and so on. This week and this episode and next, I'm going to talk about how output provides opportunities for diagnostics. In other words, the students and their teachers can use output as a diagnostic tool for improving and refining language knowledge. So I want to review, first of all, in order to get us there, this chart that I have on the screen from Rod Ellis. And it begins with input on the left side, and it moves into this box with intake and the interlanguage system. And it's in that box that we just don't know what's going on. We can't observe it. And oftentimes the learner doesn't even know what is going on or how the brain is working and acquiring and accommodating the new language data until it comes out on the other side as output. And so that's where we're going to focus today and looking at how output can help us see, get us a glimpse, a window into what was going on inside the learner's brain. So the implications for the learner, we'll talk about this episode, and next episode we'll talk about some implications for the instructor. So for the learner, one of the things that this allows when the learner produces output, it allows the learner to notice what he or she does or does not know. They have a heightened sense of awareness of vocabulary and grammar of the language when they're trying to produce output. And in doing so, they're going to notice gaps in their language knowledge. So for example, I want to say, I went to the store, but I don't know how. I don't have the grammar. I don't have the vocabulary. And so it makes the learner more curious. It sort of prompts them and motivates them for learning and acquiring what they don't know. So they're primed for that vocabulary or that structure that they don't have readily available to produce as output. So noticing is the first implication for a language learner when they produce output. A second is reflection, and on a very surface level, reflecting on, well, how do you say that in Greek or whatever it is? But it also provides them the opportunity to reflect and consolidate their language knowledge. They begin to take ownership, and it promotes this accommodation, restructuring that's going on in the brain that we can't see, but by producing output, things start to come together that perhaps didn't when they were just relying on input. So that's the second implication for a learner. The third then is output provides them with the opportunity to test out some hypotheses. Output production allows them to say, well, I want to say this, I'm going to try it this way. And maybe it's right and maybe it's wrong. But once they've said it, then they can get feedback, or they themselves can recognize, no, that wasn't quite it. Let me try it a different way. Or I didn't use the right vocabulary, or I didn't use the right form. Or their conversation partner says, I don't think that was quite it. But it provides them the opportunity to say, well, is this how you say it in English or Hebrew or Greek or Latin or whatever? And this will then lead to an upcoming episode on feedback and how teachers especially can provide feedback to learners once they've produced the output. But for now, just focusing on how this output is providing the learner with opportunities for diagnostics. What am I saying right? What do I know? What do I not know? And it helps them in the end to understand and internalize more deeply the language rules that they're trying to use. So, those are the three ways that output can help a learner diagnose or understand what they know or don't know in their language acquisition process. In the next episode, I'm going to cover that same idea, but from the perspective of the instructor. When an instructor hears the output, how do they diagnose what's going on with the learner and what do they do with it? So to wrap things up for today, output provides students with a diagnostic tool for improving and refining their knowledge of the language, because it's only when the learner produces output that she can really recognize what she does or does not know. And she can do this through noticing, through reflecting, through testing hypotheses about the language, leading to a deeper knowledge and understanding of the language and how it works. So again, next week, I'm going to focus on the teacher side of things, how a teacher can use output for diagnostics. I hope you can join me, and in the meantime, have a great week.
Interested in growing your ancient language skills but not sure where to start? Glossa House can help. From illustrated readers and short stories to lexicons and grammars, Glossa House offers a variety of resources for beginning, intermediate, and experienced ancient language learners. Head to glossahouse.com today. Glossa House, language resources for the global community.